Welcome again to the session with Professor Emeritus Stephen Adei. Today I conclude my series on wealth creation or sustainable wealth creation and how we can generate more millionaires zero tolerantly. And my topic is ABCD of personal wealth creation. ABCD of personal wealth creation as my concluding session. A for attitude. Many people in our country are almost saying in French, déjà vu, it's already too late. It is never too late for anyone, young and old, to go on the line of wealth creation. I've seen young people these days by 30 elsewhere, they are millionaires, not by stealing or joining political parties and doing their hanky-pankies, but really being creative, innovative, and entrepreneurial. And it's all in the mind. As I used to say when they were having the last election, it's a time for us to reset the agenda and hear the agenda of the mind. And it is possible. I want to encourage you, those especially who have been following my series, that you can start today your journey of personal wealth creation. Not only that, the B stands for basic knowledge. Oftentimes, and it amazes me, even university students these days of AI, and you can almost get everything online, how people are financially illiterate. I tell people, you can be a millionaire in 30 years. He says, oh, Prof, in Ghana. And I said, do you know what it takes to be a millionaire? Just 100 Ghana cedis invested every month. And in 30 years, if you get an average of 15% to 17.5%, you become a millionaire. But it requires some basic knowledge. For example, you must understand that people grow wealthy by saving and investing through compound interest. Albert Einstein was asked, what is the most powerful thing in the whole world? And his answer was compound interest. We were somehow damaged to always count 1, 2, 3, 4. But you can count 1, 3, 9 and going. You don't need to go ordinary. And that's what compound interest is all about. So you must understand it. You must know where money grows. Money does not grow under your bed. Money does not grow by hoping. Money grows by basically earning some income, no matter how low, and making sure that your expenditure is below your income, and then saving the difference in a good place. That's why I went through, where do you put the money? We look at financial investments like mutual funds. We looked at setting up your own business. We look at partnerships and things of that nature. And I hope those who didn't go through with us will have the discipline in laying hand of one of my books, like 12 Keys to Financial Success, Christians and Wealth Creation, 101 Ways to Find the Money to Save and Invest. And there are many other good books on the market. But you need basic personal financial management knowledge. My young friend, very, very intelligent, Paul Manti, who is the head of EDC, an investment firm under the EcoBank Group, has a series of about 15 books. Cheap, but then they will give you the basic knowledge you need. So your attitude must be positive. Yes, we can. Second, you must acquire basic knowledge, which is not for, you don't need a PhD, a master's, or a bachelor degree, but how money grows. Where in Ghana can you invest relatively securely without going to give it to the number ones and the coast and then chase them up for overnight success? No, we don't grow rich overnight, but over time you can grow. The third is that you must commit to a scheme. Oftentimes, even the traders, I hear people, oh, he goes to Dubai, he gets this product and come and say, no, and I've heard another product is in China. No, the rich don't behave that way. They look into one or two areas, they learn about it, they plan and then execute it. But above all, with commitment. That is the C4. You must commit yourself to an agenda, to systematic savings and investment, to wealth creation over time, and you are likely to succeed. Not only that, you will require a lot of discipline. These days, and sad to say, because some politicians get power and within months or at most 4 years, they have 3 mansions, they are driving in about 3 V8s and the rest. Our people have come to believe that it's so easy, you don't have to work hard in order to make it. No. True entrepreneurs do work hard and are disciplined. And as a result of that, they grow with their wealth creation. And many people are undisciplined. Discipline in earning income systematically, discipline in saving and investing. In my book, 12 Keys to Financial Success, I try to correct a certain error even among Christians in their thinking. You pay your tithe and then you'll be okay. I says, no. When you pay your tithe and you spend the remaining 90%, at the end of every month, you will be as poor as church mouse. And let me tell you, in the church, the mice there don't have much to eat because everybody swallow all their, what they call it, the Lord's Supper elements. No. I believe that as a Christian, my first commitment is to give to God's work. Minimum the tithe. If you are an Old Testament Christian, as a New Testament Christian, I must give far more than the Pharisees did. However, in addition to that, you must discipline yourself every month to set aside a minimum of 10% of your income and put it in a very reasonable investment. I always recommend mutual funds, which you can go to. Data Bank has gotten about 5, the first company to start mutual funds in Ghana and still the best, among the best. EDC has come up very well. Republic Bank, former HFC, has gotten one. And now there are about 39 of them. Of course, you may have to go to someone to advise you if you are not well versatile in how they operate, to know which of the types and then invest appropriately according to your risk profile. But the point is that you must discipline yourself. And my formula for Christians is 10-10-80 principle. Minimum of 10% for God. Another 10% for yourself. I call it pay yourself, because that investment will grow multiples by compound interest, and eventually you will benefit from it. And try to live within 80% of your income. When I used to tell my staff at Gimpa, this 10, 10, 80, initially they would say that, but even 100 is not enough, and you are asking us to live on 80. And this was the time when even the professionals were earning about 250, 300 Ghana cedis then. And my reply was this: you can spend all your money today like eating your fruit with its seed and be poor forever, or plant the seed and in no time become a multiplier. If you are earning 300 Ghana cedis, even then, of course now it will be 3,000 equivalent. What will 30 cedis make? It will not make a difference to you. You will be as poor as you were before. But anyone who saves 30 cedis at that time, at the end of the year, had 360 saved, and then to grow and multiply. So let me reiterate. First is attitude. I don't think that there are some special people who have been set aside to be rich. Of course, there are a few people, and now in Ghana, many who are rich by tifre, by galamsey poisoning the whole nation. This is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about those who get rich righteously through hard work, through businesses, through investment. Let me tell you, if your parentage is poor, it doesn't mean you have to live poor. Almost every rich people you know who are not among the glorified thieves started somewhere and broke the chain of poverty of their people. The second is that you require basic knowledge, and you must be committed to really pursue either a business or investment over time, and you must be disciplined. So this is what I shared about personal financial investment. Now I want to add a E, which was part of my second part about setting up business or entrepreneurship. You know, the statistics show that 80% of entrepreneurs or business people started as ordinary workers. Only 20% are virgin or started their businesses the first time. And that's why I'm proud of my university, Ashasi University. At least 10% of our students, because we teach them leadership, entrepreneurship, innovation, about 10%, their first job is to start their own business. We can do so if we change the way we teach in other universities, and also even at the lower level, we try to inculcate entrepreneurship into our students. But when it comes to business, we must be willing also to follow the same. The attitude of a businessman is that it is possible. We can do it. Yes, about only 1 in 5 businesses succeed at most in the first few years. But the business people will try and try again, and eventually they make it. It's that type of attitude. You must be able to identify an area which you would like to go into. And people say, yes, where do I start? Normally, when I teach Entrepreneurship 101, I often call one of the participants or students and to stand in front of the class. And I said that, please, think of how many businesses you can make out of this man or woman. At first, they start, what do you mean? I says, look at him or her. He has a clothing, so that's a business. He may probably have gone to a barber. He wears a shoe. He took transport. He ate before coming. And before long, they are listing about 100 areas of entrepreneurship. But I like something I picked from J.C. Maxwell in his devotion called Leadership. And this is what I picked from him. He says that if you want an area where you are likely to succeed, look at this. First, what do you like doing most? It's amazing that if you pursue some things you like doing, you are likely to succeed. I like writing. If I wanted to live as a writer, I have made it very well. I've written big and small booklets, myself and my wife, about 40 already. I love my wife, blessed be her, blessed be her. We started Family Life Mission. I think that if I wasn't a professor, I could start a chop bar and have the best chop bar in Ghana, because I like my brobu and my fufu in all colors. In other words, what delights you? And oftentimes, people miss becoming an entrepreneur because you don't follow their desires and what makes them happy. But there's the opposite. What makes you angry? He says, what irks you? IRKS. Listen, often when you are angry at something, you must do something about it, and you will find invariably that there are many people who are feeling the same way as you do, and you are likely to succeed in a big way. So what are some of the things? Let me tell you, in my case, 2 of them. First, I was not happy about the elite secondary schools in Ghana, because even though, and I wouldn't like to mention name, this is a public address, many are giving best quality academic education. The moral standards are moving from bad to west every day. Even the so-called international schools, many of them are basically training educated devils. And that is why my wife and I, almost 25 years ago, decided that we will start up Christian High, Ghana Christian International High School, to offer the same type of education, but which is academically tops, but offers values and Christian principles, so that among the leaders of tomorrow, there will be those who will live for God, family, and country. And that is the motto of the school: for God, family, and country. Another example, that one was not so much my being angry with it, but something I discovered. I knew that other families would need it. By God's grace, my wife and I discovered how we can train within 3 and 6 months 5 to 7-year-olds to be totally literate in a language. We tried it on our children, it worked, and now we have registered with International Patent Papa and Nana series to help other people's children and my grandchildren also to be totally literate. So what irks you, what you love doing, can be a very wonderful way of starting businesses. Then there's the niche entrepreneurs. What do I mean by niche entrepreneurs? There are people who are doing things already, and then you find that it doesn't. For example, they go to, let me give a very practical one. Everybody goes to the market. So the farmer, the traders go and bring it to Agbogoloshi or somewhere else. You go there and buy. But most people now living in airport residential area or even in the not so high area go to work. And when they come, they would like to get some food. Imagine you have a shop anywhere in Nima, in the Kwabenya, whereby all the things, tomatoes, yam, and other things are there, just with amani and then all the type of meat that locals want, so that as he's coming, he just stops there in his locality, just pick them or delivers them into the house. This is a niche, and oftentimes, if you want to be especially a young person starting, you look for what is being done and the gap, and then you fill it. But let me conclude on that session and say that anytime when you can do something faster, cheaper, and deliver it quicker and more effectively, you have a business, irrespective of what people are doing already. Even in the area, one of the areas which is almost saturated in Ghana is the pure water area. But very soon, excuse me to say, we'll get a sensible government who would say that we cannot pollute ourselves with plastic. By now, if I'm a young person, what I'll be thinking of is how to package this water in laminated paper so that it's not, and that is it. And before, people will be laughing at you, but when that is banned, your water will be on the market. You become a multi-millionaire overnight. I want to encourage you, if you're a worker, start saving and investing today by at least following 10-10-80. If you're a Christian, tithe 10% minimum, and then 10% savings and investment and living within 80. But there's always the entrepreneurship route for you to become among the wealthy people of your generation. This brings me to the end of our series on wealth creation. We will be starting a new one from next week. It will be The Secret. Come on and join me in this wonderful trip of passing on what God has blessed some of us to the next generation. I want you to be a millionaire, to be rich and holy. Shalom, and may the Lord be with you every Saturday morning. Please meet me on ZFM 101.9. ZFM 101.9. And if you miss it, remember, you can always get the same on the YouTube of Professor Emeritus Stephen Adei. God be with you.
Like, share, and subscribe if you've been blessed. God bless you.